Right, so with system hacking, first thing that we're going to talk about is the different types of techniques. And really, we talk a little bit about some of the weaknesses due to the inefficient use of passwords. So with the invention of passwords and with Microsoft being able to be at the forefront of the march to try to protect people's not only operating systems, but applications and identities online. We start off with a LAN manager or an LM hash of people's passwords. And when we get into it a little bit further, we'll see that if a password isn't a certain length and size, whenever the hash is created, it will always have the same value at the tail end of the hash. And before we jump into that any further, you just got to trust me on what I say when I say that it always will have the same value at the tail end of the hash. So if you take a look at it here, one of the questions on your exam, and I think we've already seen one in the practice that we've done, one of the questions that you'll see will say, which of the following is the weakest password that you see on the screen? And usually we say that it's got to do what with the passwords? It's got to have upper and lowercase. It's got to have at least one number and at least one character. Typically on websites, they say it's got to be larger than 8 characters in length, and there's a reason for that we'll talk about here in a few minutes. But now a lot of the DoD and DoD contracts that we're seeing coming out are forcing people to implement group policy with at least 12 characters, and there is a reason for that. So a lot of times you see people just come up with the same password over and over and over again, but they have a slight derivation of that. So for instance, if yours is cyber, maybe somebody does cyber 1 or cyber 2 or cyber 3. Or if you're like the young lady I was talking about with the Snapchat, you have ABC 1, 2, 3, and then you're paying for it later on down the road. But these are just some basic passwords that contain only numbers or aren't long enough or only special characters. And really, we need to do best practices to do a combination of all of them and at least 8 characters in length. We'll talk about that here in a second.